Hello friends, today I am going to discuss object oriented programming. Oh, so just I am going to discuss like a oh so OOP like a object oriented programming. So object oriented programming is a method of a structure a program by bundling related properties and behaviors into individual objects. Conceptually, object like a components of a system. Think of a program as a factory assembly line of sorts. So a system component at each step of the assembly line process some materials a little bit, ultimately transforming a raw material into a finished product. So an object contains data like a raw or pre-processing material at each step on an assembly line and behavior like the action each assembly line components perform. So we will try to understand how to create a class and use a class to create a new objects and model systems with the class inheritance. So first let's see the what is the class. So you could see here like a primitive data structure like a numbers, strings and list. These are designed to represent a simple things such as a cost of something, the name of poem and your favorite colors. So what if you want to represent something much more complicated? So let us say if you wanted to track an employee in an organization, you need to store some basic informations about each employee. So such as their name, age, position and the year they started working. So let's see just if you want to represent each employee as a list. So you can write k something, you can write as a variable and you are creating a list like a Rahul and its age like a 34. Now again a comma, Mohan and its age otherwise you can write like a Rahul and I have written like something, it's a captain and its employment ID like this, it's a comma and 2265, right. Second list I have spoke and like a name of this spoke and 35 and like name of these positions like a science officer, officer, and 2254. Macro Leonard Macro, and another we can write like it's a positions like something, okay, chief medical officer, medical officer, and now it's a position like this 2266. So there are the number of the issues, like I have created like a 3 list. So first you reference like a click 0, the several lines away from where the clicks list is declared, and you will remember that the oath elements like this one Rahul, and similarly the second McQuay list above the age is a missing, so McQuay 1 will return chief medical officer instead of Dr. McQuay age. So let's see, I am going to write here as it is like a Greek, it's a better, right? And the great way to make a type of code more manageable and more maintainable is to use classes. So classes by instance. Classes are used to create a user defined class structure, and classes also have a special functions called a method. Classes have a special functions called a methods, so that define like a behavior and action that an object created from the class can perform with its data. So while the class is the blueprints, an instance of an object built from a class that contains a real data. So an instance of just I am going to write how to define a class. So all class definitions start with the class keyword. So you can write here like this example, name of the class a colon. So all class defined start with the class keyword and which is followed by a name of the class and colon. This is similar to a signature of a function, except that you don't need to add any parameters in parentheses. So any code that is intended below in the class definitions consider the part of the class body. So let's see, like class, and I am going to write here a dog and colon. Now let's see here pass. So example, just you can see here the simple dog class. What do you say? This is called a dog class. So the body of the dog class consists of a simple statement. The pass keyword, pass is often used as a placeholder where code will eventually go, and it allows you to run this code without throwing an error. So unlike functions and variables, the convention for naming a class in a Python is to use camel case notation starting with a capital letter. So for example, a class for a specific breed of dogs like a Jack Russell's Terrier would be written as a Jack Russell's one Terrier. So dog class is not a very interesting right now. So let us see here. So instance attributes like this. So all the dog objects must have a needed to define the special method called dot init. So underscore init underscore parenthesis, and this method is run every time a new dog object is created and tells Python what the initial state, that is the initial value of the object's properties of the object should be. So first, like dot underscore init underscore parenthesis method, the created two instance attributes dot name and dot age. So let's see, just I am going to create here like a class, and I am writing here like a dog, this way. So I have created, this is a class dog, name of this class like a dog. Now I am going to like a define diff and init it. So init, and you can also like a init class. So let's see, first I am going to write here init self comma name comma age. So I have created, and then I am going to write here self dot name self dot name will equal to name, and self dot age will equal to self dot age will equal to like a age. So here we need to notice that the function signature, the part that start with the def keyword, and it is indented 4 space. So the body of the functions is indented by 8 space. This indentations is vitally important, and it tells a Python that the dot init methods belongs to the dog class. So without the indentation, Python would treat like just another functions. So functions that belong to a class is called instance methods. Functions that belongs to the class are called instance methods because they belong to the instance of a class. So list.appends and string.find, these are the instance methods. So in the body of the dot and init method are the two statements using self variable, and the first line solve self dot name create an instance attribute called name and assign to it the value of the name variable that was passed to the dot underscore underscore init underscore underscore parenthesis. So second line create an instance attribute called age and assign to it the value of the age arguments. This might look a kind of strange. The self variable is referring to an instance of the dog class, but we have not actually created an instance yet. It is a placeholder that is used to build the blueprints. Remember, the class is used to define the dog data structures. It does not actually create an instance of individual dog with a specific name and ages. So while the instance attributes are specific to each object, class attributes are the same for all instances, which in this case is all dogs. In the next example, so the class attributes called the species is created and assigned the value like a something. So let's see. Similarly, just I am going to create another class attributes defined directly the underneath the first line of the class and outside of the any method definitions. So let's see. And third, we can write diff as it is. I think I am going to write as it is, but we need to add some attributes. So let's see, copy and paste because I want to save my time, and I am going to write some class attributes. Class attributes and species like species will equal to can it this one, and then we can write here. So class attributes are the same all instance, which is the case of the all dogs. So class attributes are defined directly underneath the first line of the class and outside of the any method definitions. So they must be assigned a value because they are created on a class instance without argument to determine what their initiate value should be. So you should use a class attributes whenever a property should have the same initial value for all instances of a class. Instance an object. So let's see, first I have already written like a class dog and pass. So this is the actual example open IDLE interactive window, and this is a create the new dog class with the no attributes and method. Next instance the new dog objects like you can write something dog and parenthesis, and then we can use a main dot dog object as something. So if you write this way, if I write like this, this is way. I have written this one like a pass, and now I am going to write here something like a dog and parenthesis. Let's see. And parenthesis. So let's see, you can see here the main functions has been dot dog added this one. So instant the new dog object. So the output indicates that you now have a new dog object at a memory. The address is this. This is the memory address. So the output indicate that you now have a new dog objects at a memory address, this one. So note that the address you see on your screen will be a very likely and be a different from the address shown here. Let's see the another. Let's instance the another dog objects, and you could see like a here so could you see your address has been changed. So new dog instance is located at the different memory address. So this is because it is the entirely new instance, completely unique from the first dog object you instead. So to see the another way, the type the follows. Let's see, just I am creating here. I am creating as a variable like this. A will equal to and dog and parenthesis. This is the another way, type the following. So and second B is the second variable, and this one is a dog parenthesis. And now I am going to write here like A to B. So let's see what happened. I have gotten a false. So there are the two new dog objects are created and assigned to the variables A and B. When A and B are compared using like equal operators, the result is a false. For uses a defined class, the default behavior of the equal operators is to compare the memory address of the two objects and return a true if the address is the same and false otherwise. So what this means is that even through the A and B objects are both instances of the dog class and have exact same attributes and same method, namely no attributes or methods. In this case, A and B represent two distinct objects in memory. But you can like a type, if you want to like a type functions to determine the object class also. So let's see here, type A, and just you can see here class here. So you could see main dog, and of course if you write here like a both like this, type and inside A now equal type like a B. Let's check here. So you can see here like a true. So both are the distinct, but they have the same types. So I hope it's clear. Let's see the class and instance attributes. Next we need to learn class and instance attribute. So let us look at a slightly more complex example using dog class, and we define with a dot name and dot age. So just I am going to like a copy and paste, because most of the thing just I have written once. So I hope I need to write the same. I am going to use here like this. So class dog and species canis familiar, and diff init self name is self dot name is the another, and self dot age is the age. And after that just I have created, and let's go here and next create here another body like a dog and parenthesis like a body, and you keep here the 9 age, and second variable like here. Okay. Second variable like miles, and will equal to dog and miles, and this one is like a 4. So after declaring the new dog class, two new instances are created. One dog whose name is Buddy, and 9-year-olds, and another name Miles, who is a 4-year-old. So after declaring a new dog class, two new instances are created. So does anything look a little strange about how the dog objects are in stained? So the dot init methods has three parameters. So why are only two arguments passed to it in the example? So when you instance a dog object, Python created a new instance and pass it to the first parameter of dot init, and this essentially remove a self parameter, so you only need to worry about the name and age parameters. So after the dog instance are created, you can access their instance attributes by using dot notation. So let's see, if I write body dot name, then you can see here your output has been printed like this. And similarly, if you write here the body dot age, like a body dot age, you could see its age. And now miles dot, and similarly we can show the miles dot name and miles dot age. So we have gotten output. So this means class attributes are accessed the same way. So you can also like a class attributes, like a class attribute like a body dot speci species. So you could see here canis families. So canis families. So one of the biggest advantages of using a class to organize data is that instances are guaranteed to have attributes you expect. But if you write like this, but if you like a body species, and mile species dot species, then not a miles, this is a miles. So you can see here the true. So both bodies and miles have the dot species attribute. Contrast this to the method of using a list to represent a similar data structure, and that you saw at the beginning of the previous sections already, we have already discussed. So both instant and class attributes can be modified dynamically. So how to modify here? So we could modify like this. If you write here body dot age and will equal to like this 10, and now I am going to write here body dot age. So it has been modified like a enhance of previous age. Now we have gotten the 10. Similarly, miles dot species is also. So in this example, we will see here dot age attributes of the body objects is changed to the 10, and then the dot species we can also like a change. So that makes them very strange, and this is the important takeaway here is that custom objects are mutably by a default. Recall that an object is mutable if it can be altered dynamically. For example, lists and dictionaries are mutable, but strings and tuple are not. They are immutable. So now you know the difference between the class and instance, but how to create an instance and set class and instance attributes the next. So instance methods like an instance method are functions defined inside of a class. This means that they only exist within a context of the object itself and cannot be called without referencing the object. So first I have already discussed, but let's see here, because previous I have already created some classes and species, so I need to go here, copy and paste. This class has been printed like this. This one, and now I am going to the some I am going to using like some instance methods. So self dot age and self dot name. After that, just I am create the some diff instance methods. Let's see, instance methods, and now diff. So df descriptions, description, and you need to write yourself. And this one. And after that we need to use here the return return and formatted functions like this. If and use here this bracket self dot name is self dot age is self dot age and year old. Year old. And let's see, just I have printed okay, just DEF. I have gotten some mistake. I hope go back now, it's alright. Again diff, go back. no quick fix. So yeah, it's all right. Now the another instance you can use here, like I am going to the another instance. Another instance. So again you can use here diff speak and self sound. Self sound, and now return self dot name say sound. So in this example, just you can see that two new instance methods are defined. First I have dot descriptions parenthesis return a string and displaying the name and age of this dog, and second just a dot speak has one parameter called a sound and it return a string constant the dog name and a sound the dog makes. So let us see the how instance method work in a practice. So to avoid typing out the whole class in the interactives window, so you can save the modified dog class in a script like in a ideally and return it. So then open the interactive window and type the like a miles. If you write here, just if I you type like a miles will equal to dog and just inside miles and 4. Similarly, you can write here miles descriptions miles dot descriptions and parentheses and miles dot skip like I speak miles dot speak and you write this something inside of this. Oof. This one, and another you can create like a descriptions. Just I need to the give here the parentheses, don't need this parentheses. Okay, and another this miles has been started in the initial way. So you could see here miles say this wolf, and similarly the descriptions we could see here. Could write this word descriptions we could see like Miles is 4-year old, and next I am going to type like this, so you could see like this, and you can type like a Miles dot speak and something. Speak, and you are writing boo and oo like this. So you could see here speak like this one. So Miles says boot. So it takes automatically. So in dot descriptions method define the above the dog class return a strings containing information about the dog instance Miles. So when we are writing you this own classes, it's a good idea to have a method that return a string containing a useful information about an instance of the class. So dot descriptions is not the most Pythonic way of doing this. So when we create a list, you can use the print parenthesis functions to display a string that looks this way, like same procedure we can also apply like a list also. So dot str, so the message displayed by a print Miles is not very helpful. So you can change what gets printed and define the species the instance method called dot str. So let us change dot descriptions like a class dog. So let's see class and dog. So class has been created, new sorry for this one, like this. So previous just I have created same thing, but here I am going to the replace here the other part of the dog class as it. So I am going to create here diff like this, and underscore str underscore and self. So let's see self, and now let's write here return f double quotation and self dot name is self dot age and years old. So let's see just here it has been created like the another, and when you print like a Miles, let's see just I am going to the print like a now Miles will equal to like a dog, and I am going to write here miles and then age like a 4, and print a miles. Okay, and now the print miles. So you could see here miles, print miles. So let's see what is this. Dog miles just and 4. So when you print a miles, you get a much friendlier output like this. But here, like a class dog def str self return f self dot name is self dot age, give a space I think like a year. So it's run, and then we can run here. So 1 minute, just I have gotten some bug like a dog has dog miles 4. So dog and parenthesis something has been like a class, and dog I have been created, and then we can diff str I have given self and return if formatted. I think it's clear. Self dot age in this year dog has been. So something is I am getting some mistakes. So let's, because I have already changed the str, but it's not replace dot descriptions enhance of str. So I don't think just, but it should be changed here. Let's check here the another print 2 miles and something like after 4. So it should be printed, but I have gotten the same error here again and again. So let's see here the type error. So dog is not here, dog I have already created, and another miles print. Yeah, so let's, so now we can print here. So but this method like is commonly called the dunder methods, because they begin and like a end with a double underscores. So let's see, just I have taken the return return and if double quotation self dot name and it's each dot self dot age and years old. So just I have already class and dog, so why it's not a working, and just previous miles, so MIL is and dog. Okay, so just I have given, but I am not getting something mistakes here. I am getting the same mistakes like a dog, so you don't have any space. Let's see, miles and dog print miles. Dog takes no. So it's showing like a dog takes no arguments. This means class hasn't been defined like this. Don't worry. So let's see. Just I will discuss in the another one more thing. Just we can also review like suppose. Let's see. Just I am going to write the one more. Self is self dot name and self dot age. So let's see here. Self dot name and self dot age. So class has been specified the class name. Now we could, I have already described here, descriptions has been done. So why it's not a working? str need to the right here 1 2. Okay, now it should drop. No, okay, don't worry. Just I think sometime we have gotten like a internet error, so don't worry, but it's should work here because I did a work, so don't worry. So let's see, you can also do the do practice and we can like a modify another the inherit from the other class like a class and the class and the child class and derive from the called like a parent class. Child class can override and extend the attributes and the method of parent class. So in the other word, like a child class inherit all the parents attributes and method, but can also specify a different attributes and method that are unique to themselves and even redefine method from their parent class. So the next we can try like a object class. So let's see, just I can write here, think why it's not over. So could I try one more? Just I am going to like a class dog class and right here like a dog, okay, and parentheses. Now I am going to the div and double str, then we give here self, then put inside this one, and now return f like a double quotation only once, and I want to write here self.name like this. Then here is self.age year old. So let's see, and we have created the one miles, and but it's not printing. Okay, just I see, I will check in the later, don't worry. So let's see here, just a class and dog. Just I have create like a class, and one is a dog, and inside this dog, inside the parenthesis, like object. Okay, and now we go here like a pass, and this one is the print like a dog class has been like this. So most of the basic types like a class is an object, and which is generally all other class inherited from their parents. So when we define a new class, we can use it like an object. So class dog and pass. So inherited from the object instant they explicit the first definitions by putting object in a between the parentheses after the dog class name. So dog, like a can take a dog park example. So just I am writing like a species, SPEC, species will equal to image family this one, and now use here the diff function. So diff and init, and we can write the sum parameters. One is the self, name, age, and breed. And then we can define here like a self.name, and this will equal to like a name. Next self.age will equal to age, and now self.breed will equal to breed. Right. So we can add it like some instance method like a defined earlier already. So you can say like init methods and dog has been created. So in this model we will see the model like a dog park. So Miles, Buddy, Jack, James, and just each breed of the dog has slightly a different behavior. So for example, the bulldogs have a low bark that sounds like a oof, and but we can see the different way. So just we have discussed, but we can take here the three. So same the parent. What is the difference between the parent class and versus child class? So if we create a child class in the each of the three bits like a mentions just in these three bits, so we can describe in the each bits. So let's see, just I have written this one like a self name age of the one bit. So we can define like a diff underscore str underscore self and return like previous just we have already discussed. So each and every step we can describe one by one. So these are the basic. So and similarly we can extending the functionality of the parent class also like we have already discussed basic. So I think we can understand some important like a class hierarchy is a very simple. So I hope we can understand these things. Another some challenges in the model of farm like you can see, and other things just also ops is a because ops is a big and sometimes a difficult topic. So some programming consider like op fundamental parts of the modern programming. So but this viewpoint of is not without the. So let's see, just try to do the more practice. So thank you very much.